What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, a K3 Soju VOD review. I just love VOD reviewing Soju. He streamed a couple of days ago, and he played a comp that I'm really hyped to talk about. This is one where I've been saying, is this the patch for this comp? Is this the patch? And we keep getting closer and closer and closer. Riot buffs this comp every single patch, so maybe this is the one. We will see based on this VOD review. I'll also say, look at that, my Monopoly Go thing down there. We're getting quite far. Some people even reaching some of the further boards. If you guys are interested in getting a free coaching session, download Monopoly Go. There's the QR code. Do the goals. Send completion of the goals in my Discord, just like a screenshot to show that you actually did it, and I'll enter you into a free coaching giveaway. You got like 5 days left for that, so if you're interested, check it out. I'm really pleased with the amount of people who've downloaded the game and tried it out. And I mean, it seems like people are enjoying it with how far a lot of you have gotten. So pretty crazy. All right, first Augmento here. I actually kind of like Prize Fighter in this spot here. We already have an Elise 2. We have pretty close to solid item slam. So I would not be surprised to see a Prize Fighter pick up here. Practice partners doesn't really matter in our spot. So yeah, especially if we find like a Shyvana or something, then our opener looks really good. Yeah, I default to, oh, he's gonna go for the Wandering Trainer. Soju likes to make the game a bit interesting, so he's going to pick this up, and he picks up an interesting dummy here. This is Eldritch plus Sugarcraft. So there's no synergy as far as I'm thinking between Eldritch and Sugarcraft. I guess Nila bridges Warrior, so that's something that, and then I guess yeah, I think that's it. So obviously, well, we're kind of gonna have to choose here. We're gonna have to choose if we want to play around this Eldritch or around the Sugarcraft. Right now, we actually do get to fit both 3 Eldritch and Sugarcraft, which is pretty funny. But the further we get into the game, we are just going to have to decide: are we an Eldritch comp or are we a Sugarcraft comp? I think Soju right now he's hedging his bets. He slammed a Last Whisper, which actually could work for either comp. And this is 5 Eldritch here if he wants it. I feel like this is actually a really hard decision. I wonder if he decides to go for it here. So there's a few things to kind of think about here. I mean, if you play 5 Eldritch, you do get the opportunity to make 10 gold, which is really nice. You get the huge spike in 5 Eldritch, and you get just really good direction. The downside is that we end up dropping out of a Soraka too with Sugarcraft, which feels bad. I think the possibility of just making 10 is so juicy that I would go for this. But I think Soju... Okay, yeah, he thought hard about that, and he ends up just going for this. I do wonder, I imagine you will make 10 here if you're going for this play. Maybe he's thinking about actually holding on to Soraka here, just so that he can potentially play that down the line, but I can't imagine. I mean, I guess Soraka would be his next in, but there's a lot of other next ins. I mean, this kind of reminds me of, I think it was the Dish Soap VOD review that we did. Yeah, this is actually very similar to the Dish Soap VOD review that we did a couple of days ago. Also, I'm going to get rid of there's your last chance to click on the QR code. So go scan it now. It's also in the description. So, check it out if you really want to. But this is very similar. Reminds me, like, Dish Soap did a very similar thing where he ended up not making Econ and so that he could hold on to like a Jace 2 and then ended up playing that Jace 2. Also really loud, like, helicopter or plane outside my window. I don't know if you guys could hear that. He ended up not making income to hold on to that, and it ended up working really. Oh my god! You are welcome. You are welcome, Soju, for the free. This guy has got his. I wonder how much Progressive is paying him for this. This is crazy level of sponsorship from Soju. This man, I don't even want to speculate how much money Soju is getting for this. But in any case, I mean, that'll be fun to check in with Flow from Progressive as the game goes on. Look, you're welcome. So just give me a small piece of it. That's all I ask, Soju. Just a little cut. It's not too much to ask, honestly, for the free publicity. But yeah, this is something that we saw Dish Soap do, and we're seeing Soju do here. It's not prioritize making that first 10 and actually prioritize higher, just having a strong board to play for a 5 streak here. And look at this, he's going to get a 5 streak here. I think maybe, I don't know, after watching some of these VODs, I think maybe my kind of like brain, that is a Nila too, that is so good. My brain is a little bit off on the prioritization of making 10 versus playing for strongest board, because I think this was absolutely the right call from Soju. He got to double level earlier on the stage, play that Soraka, and he's got an easy 5 streak from it, and now he's playing around this Nila too. Yeah, easiest 5 streak in the West. You could sell Cinder pair if you want to here. I don't imagine that he's going to, just because we're going to be playing around vertical Eldritch, so we're going to want that Cinder 2 as quickly as possible. And maybe there's ideas of playing for a Cinder 3 Who's to say? I couldn't ever possibly say it, but maybe such a thing could happen. In any case, this is obviously a fantastic start here and a really good spot for Eldritch in general, which is a comp that Throughout the set, it's been up and down. There was an early patch where it was like not bad, but for most of the set, Vertical Eldritch has been kind of yucky. You know, you're never really excited to play Vertical Eldritch without an emblem, and even with an emblem, you're usually not that hyped to play for it. With these items, these are kind of interesting. I mean, you have Hodge that you could make here for a healing item. That's probably the single best item that you could make right now, guarantee healing onto this Nila. So I imagine that's going to be the slam here. There's also like a QSS, I guess, if you really wanted, but I feel like getting healing onto this Nila is really important, especially when we're on such a big win streak. We just want to be as strong as possible here. Obviously, Stemming Hodge gets rid of a potential tier for like a Syndra or a Nami later, but when you're in this spot, like Soju's in, you can't really play for the future. You just have to play for the now, because every fight that you win is so much gold. It's 4 gold basically every fight that you win. And then it's also the opportunity cost of like if you lose a fight here, that actually like affects your gold down the line. So still great spot to be in. And I think Soju's gonna go for it. There's the Eldritch Crest from him. It's actually kind of funny because this Eldritch Crest is not actually that good right now, unless we find a Mordekaiser. If we find a Mordekaiser, obviously it is fantastic, because then we can play 7 Eldritch on level 6, which would be disgusting. But yeah, without the Mordekaiser, this doesn't actually do anything. Like we're actually playing down an augment right now. Our Eldritch spawn got a little bit stronger here. It's kind of funny, but I mean, I like the play from Soju, just with the idea that, yeah, I mean, we can almost guarantee 7 Eldritch. We just need to find 1 Mordekaiser. The only downside is we might end up losing our streak here. That is a really scary Blitzcrank. And yeah, I don't think Cinder can clutch this out. Yeah, it's going to be a lost streak there. So it feels bad. Soju is clearly upset about it, but hey, all good. I mean, we still are quite rich here. He's actually rolling even more on 6. Wow, with the idea that obviously 1 Mordekaiser does spike his board so hard. My thought is we're already so strong. I'm kind of surprised that we're rolling this much on 6. But the other idea as far as rolling on 6 is that you can roll for 3 stars. So now we're getting more into the idea of rolling for of Eldritch reroll in general. This is a comp that I've mostly talked about in the context of like Cinder reroll, but Nila here, you can see, is a monster when she's itemized. There, I'm sure you guys remember, if you guys been playing the entire set, you know, early set, where there was like, man, how often? We are 7 minutes into the video and it's popped up twice. I mean, I guess Soju's on 2x speed, so it's probably every like 7 minutes or 8, maybe every 10 minutes. No, there's no way. Item wise here, we have the cloak open. So we're getting over glove, actually. Kind of surprising to me. I guess there wasn't that much good stuff to go for here. So he ends up taking the glove here, but I'm curious what that glove is going to be. That is not how you make Eldritch Emblem. I guess, yeah, he's just gonna make the QSS here. The idea being that it's an attack speed item on Syndra if we want to play for a potential Cinder 3, which we're far off of for now. But yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways you could maybe make the argument that Quicksilver is better than Gwynsu on Cinder because she's not that great at stacking it, and so it guarantees her those early that attack speed that will allow her to stack up those orbs. I don't know if the data necessarily supports that take, but hey, maybe. Well, there's also Vanguard as the inbuilt synergy, which I'm sure people are screaming out in YouTube chat. I've baited you all. I knew that it was Vanguard. I just wanted to steal your YouTube comment engagement. Not really. I just wasn't thinking about it that hard. But Vanguard also connects Sugarcraft and Eldritch, which is maybe what Soju's thinking about here. I don't think you really need to care that much about getting Sugarcraft in. We're going to play a vertical Eldritch to this game and play whatever's strongest. And if that happens to be a Rumble, that's okay. But I don't think it's that necessary. So hey, we get to the end of this stage. It's fine. We fight NO3, this guy who the entire time we fought him at the end of last stage, and then we fought him at the end of this stage, and he is 32 HP with that fortune augment, which statistically actually is pretty garbo now. It's not really what you're looking for, but hey, we pick up another Cinder here, which is quite nice. We have 4 at this point. There's finally the Mordekaiser, which once again, like we talked about, does give us that 7 Eldritch. We're so close to Nila here that, yeah, we are going to make the call from Soju here to roll it down a bit. But yeah, you certainly would like to play 7 Eldritch here, and we are going to fit that in with just the random Straka in. We get Gargoyle as our slam here. I mean, yeah, that's a perfectly serviceable slam here. Also notice that Soju's holding onto the Elise, as we have 6 right now, so it's a possible Elise 3. I think the least likely thing is to hit this Ash 3. That seems so far off, but hey, maybe. Unless it's an Ash 2. That Ash? No, it's an Ash 1. Okay. Yeah, it looked kind of big. Okay. Last augment here. Crash Test Dummies Keepers. Heroic Grab Bag actually is probably not bad because it allows you to get to everything else. I mean, it's certainly not keepers, and I don't think you really need the front line from Crash Test. We kind of just need more damage. And yeah, I mean, neither of these look great. I could see it being grab bag, though we do end up immediately hitting the Nila here. But we have a lot of stuff left to hit here. We're still pretty far off Syndra, and we could potentially use them to hit Elise as well. I don't know that we're going to hold on to these Akalis. Yeah, I think this makes perfect sense. And yeah, we actually hit a ton of Cinders there. Now we just have Cinder 3. Holy. All right. Well, we made it to both Cinder 3 and Nila 3 here. So let's see how this board does. 7 Eldritch, Cinder 3, Nila 3. We have +2 Eldritch, which is kind of a factor in that it allows us to play it allows us to play 7 Eldritch right here with a +1, which is the Gwen. I don't know how much of a factor it's going to be on level 8. I guess, what would you be really interested in getting in on level 8 here? An Incantor? You could throw in a random Karma. It doesn't sound that exciting to me. There's a Mordekaiser too, though. That's very good. And a gold dummy. Yeah, this looks great. I mean, the spot looks good, and yeah, we're immediately gonna move the Gargoyle over to the Mordekaiser, just a much better tank. Make sure that your correct dummy is on the outside. We're playing 2 Elises right now. Oh, because he's level 7, but he gets a +1 from the dummy as well. So he's still Soju actually has so much room for +1s this game. Also, I guess I haven't talked about it, but the content angle for taking the Eldritch +1 here is obviously if you get to another Eldritch emblem, then we can play for 10 Eldritch on level 9, right? We don't even need to go 10 because we have the Wandering Trainer dummy. All right, there's Flo again. So thank you for the Soju like looks upset every time it pops up, but you know, you can't build generational wealth without taking a few sponsors. By the way, check out Monopoly Go in the bottom left corner. That would greatly appreciate it if you download it. In any case, I didn't even pull up the QR code. It didn't work. It's gonna take so long to switch to the QR code. The bit was not worth it. But look, there's a link in the description if you want to. But yeah, I mean, we're coasting a bit this stage, 80 HP. At this point, we are looking to push level, get Briar in, we did get an Incantor in here with the Cassiopeia, which makes a lot of sense, better than a second Elise here. And I mean, we are also one off the Elise 3, which is really nice. We can find that pretty soon, as long as we get a little lucky. We're certainly not going to be rolling for like Elise here, but if we find a random one, sure, why not? And yeah, I mean, the Gwen actually fits decently with the Sugarcraft. I mean, it's kind of whatever. You know, like I said, I don't think Sugarcraft +1 is really doing anything here, but it does make the synergies look pretty, which I know people love. People love just, ooh, I got this synergy and I got this synergy and this synergy in. It's not really how TFT should always be played. Yo, look at this guy. He's got the Nunu hero augment. He's playing Ari. Well, I thought he was playing Ari Reroll with it, but actually he's only hit Nunu 3, but he's got the Arcana augment here. This is a weird setup, but it's beating Soju. We lost to this. They also have a Bastion +1, so are they 6 Bastion? Yeah, Soju's like, I lost this fight. I might as well FF. Like my God. There's another Ashe, which who cares about? There's another Soraka, which who cares about? I mean, at this point, we're looking to push levels. Yeah, this Syndra, I will say, the Nila is doing okay. The Syndra definitely needs to start picking up some slack. Obviously, Nila, when she gets focused down early in a fight, she's just not going to do a ton of damage. But yeah, we need some damage and mana items onto the Cinder. Lesser Champion Duplicator, actually, that is a 3-star for the Spider Lady if we want it. He's actually just going to make Archangels here off the rip. I mean, actually, I kind of like this play a lot. I was thinking about this, like, what would you prefer to build onto the Cinder here, and I think this makes a lot of sense. Though he had the cloak, so this ends up being this adaptive helm. I actually ends up having to make the adaptive helm here, which I assume he would like to go onto the Cinder. He just needs to get a remover here, and yeah, now he gets the mana item and he gets the Archangels here. Loses another fight, so down to 46 HP. How is Soju gonna get out of this one? Oh, there's Salvager. Okay, so that can actually allow him to remake some stuff. I wonder, why did the gloves stay there? Whatever. JG adaptive. Yeah, I mean, I like this a lot. The Quicksilver really was always a slam out of necessity, not necessarily something that Soju really, really wanted to slam. And this looks a lot better. A lot of mana for the Cinder. She gets Zephyred, but it's actually fine because she's gaining mana while she gets Zephyred. The Giant Bear onto the backline. Can Syndra pop this? Oh my God, just a few. It's such a treat watching Soju down to 33 HP. So look, I won't try to tell you that this is the most broken board of all time. Watching it play, hey, look, this is a learning experience for me, and what I'm learning from this is that you need a lot of Cinder stacks early for this comp to really win out. Soju is, of course, also down essentially an augment. His second augment is allowing him to play a Nasus on this board, which isn't like bad. It's 2 Shapeshifter, but it's essentially like he took a Shapeshifter +1 in this spot, which you would never really want. So Soju, his spot is certainly not ideal unless there's always a chance. There's always a chance that on carousel there's a beautiful Eldritch +1. Okay, not yet, but maybe we'll see it down the line. We'll see. There's a blue buff pick up. There's a blue buff pickup for Gwen, I guess is the idea. The one of her best items, honestly. We're lagging a little bit of frontline. Well, I guess you kind of have the bear for frontline a little bit. You'd love for that to be a Gwen item. When shield on holder breaks, yeah, I think we're going to put that into the Mordekaiser because he has his shield, right? Yeah, I mean, that would make sense to me. There's the blue buff onto the Gwen. So, yeah, I mean, Gwen is a pretty solid unit now, and blue buff one of her better items just because she's so low mana. She does also have the Eldritch emblem, so she's getting, what, like stats? She's getting like a little bit of Eldritch stats off that, a little bit of extra HP, so that's pretty cool. The bear almost, like, I mean, look, wait, let's look at the right. Yeah, we're guaranteed top 4 at this point. I will say, we made it to a top 4. I've seen much worse. I have seen much worse in my TFT career. This comp seems aggressively mediocre. It definitely looks like if you get a spot like Soju's where, you know, you end up with Eldritch +1 early and you can play around it, it definitely looks like an angle that you can play, and you can see a fun game where we, you know, ended up itemizing the Nila, itemizing the Cinder, and we got to all of our items. The problem is just late game, especially in this spot here where we're down a third gold augment, it just doesn't hold up to some of the other insane late game comps. But hey, a top 3, I mean, you take those. You also cashes out Sugarcraft. Sugarcraft 2 is so funny with how many stacks it gives now, where you can just cash out with just this. I mean, look, all I'm saying is we lived 3 fights, which seems quite difficult actually, but maybe it's possible. Live 3 fights, make it to carousel. We're going level 9 here. We're gonna get 10 Eldritch in. I mean, we could get, it would be so cool. It would be so insane actually if we got the charm that gives us an extra like unit in. Ooh, 4 like an extra one of our synergy here. 4 warrior is the call. I kind of love it. Okay, and then the adaptive hell moves up to Gwen, and then Shojin goes on to Cinder. I like this a lot. 4 warrior. Wow, get out of the shapeshifter that we had in before. The idea is that we can get shapeshifter back in, and we'll see. I mean, look at this Nila. She's kind of doing work with the big bear as well. All right, is this the board? I mean, it's a really cool idea from Soju, and he ended up picking up the Fiora too, so it's not like we're even playing any like quote-unquote bad units for this. Obviously, like 0-item Fiora is not amazing, but like what else would you play? I mean, you play 10 Eldritch if you could find it. He's also holding onto these Noras for potential like mage, but yeah, I don't think it makes that much sense. I guess you could move like Gwen items over, but you're never selling this Gwen, I would think. I guess you could theoretically. But wow, actually, I was kind of clowning on this comp. But with four warrior in, this is why you never surrender in TFT. 4 warrior in, Soju's actually doing insane work here. He's going to use the salvager to make a static shiv. I assume it's still adaptive. Oh God. Okay, we're going quick. He has this bow here. Eldritch Emblem's got to go on somebody here. The idea is, okay, now he can. Yeah, he decides to make static shiv. This is a bad loss, though. He's not dead, right? Is he? Okay, he's alive. He is alive, but he opted to make the shiv. All right, Eldritch +1. Here it is. Oh, I mean, there's so many spats on this carousel, and he was first pick. It actually is so sad. I mean, he's gonna take the mage +1. Yo, Soju's always thinking about what his next move's gonna be. He's thinking about potentially getting out of the 4 warrior here, getting mage in with the Nora mage. Who are we maging? Gwen? I guess we'll see. And the question is, what's the last in here? He's just going to fit the Camille in here for Chrono. Whoach. And yep, it's going to be Mage onto the Gwen here. I'm excited to see Mage Gwen go. Oh yeah, the double snip. Yo, the Mage Gwen actually looks pretty good. I don't know if it's enough to beat these capped late game boards. This is a pretty... Ooh. Yo, Cinder. Oh, he wins that fight? I mean... This game looked kind of doomed, and I mean, we're 2 HP is the problem, and we need a combat charm so badly here when we miss. Roll. You gotta just roll here, right? You gotta roll for a combat charm here. It's so likely that we're gonna die. Just sell the Nami and just, oh my God, he's just gonna go for the greediest play of all time. Just gonna say, I'm confident I can win this fight, and he's not gonna take a charm here. All right, let's see if that confidence is correctly placed or not. I mean, the bear does a lot of work on backline. He stomps him. Oh my God, and it's a top 2. It is a top 2. I don't know what to say about this game. I mean, a really, I was, oh my God, and he sees the enemy board and he just FFs. What was the enemy board? It's 8 Bastion, Zerath 2. Yeah, I think they had a Briar 2 on their board as well. But I think Soju can be very, very happy with that performance. A top 2 from Vertical Eldritch Reroll. I mean, what can you say? That was such a Soju game, and it was so fun to watch. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, I brought back the Monopoly Go thing. If you guys are interested, get through this stupid thing. I just want you to pull up the QR code so people can take out their phones. And oh, it's coming up. It's coming up right after this. We're gonna see a QR code, and you're gonna be able to scan it. Oh, it's there. It is. There it is. All right. Thank you guys as always for supporting my stuff. If you don't want to download Monopoly Go, you don't have to, obviously, but it helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys' support, as always, for being very cool and interactive with sponsors and stuff like this. Matters a lot for, getting future sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.